Hey guys, Owen here of Bound for Nowhere, and in this installment of our JMT Gear Guide, we're talking backpacking food. As with other parts of this guide, we did a lot of research leading up to the trail, and then we continued to learn more as we were on the trail. And with that, let's dive right in. Before we ever got on the trail, we already planned to start the days early and fast. That way we could get on trail before the heat of the day. We ended up really liking this tactic because one, it was super peaceful in the morning, and two, the light was so beautiful for taking photos. To be fast in the morning, we opted out of having a hot breakfast and using our stove. A nice side effect of that was that we got to carry less fuel. Since we did opt out of hot breakfast, we ended up having these Pro Bar meal bars every morning. We got a variety of flavors to keep things interesting, and for the most part, we even ate breakfast on the go. The reviews for breakfast were very mixed. Personally, I was totally fine with it and I thought it was a great solution. But Mac and my mom both were pretty hit or miss. They had problems with it being too sweet. Superfood Slam was the winner as far as flavors go by far, but I also liked the chocolate peanut butter one. I would show you them as examples, but they're all gone. Next time we'll stick to the tactic of having no hot breakfast, but we'll do a better job of adding in some variety. There will be some Pro Bars, but we'll also try and add in some savory options as well, just to try and keep things interesting. Epic makes some options in this category, but we don't really have any experience with them. If you guys have some favorites that might fit this, please just let us know below in the comments. Another tidbit we picked up from Andrew Skirka's book was to have several snacks throughout the day rather than one big lunch. We really ended up liking this approach because we were able to eat on the go, and again, we put a priority on being as efficient as possible while we were hiking. We ended up packing 5 snacks per day, and we aimed to get about 250 calories per snack. Those snacks varied widely based on our resupplies and what was available at the grocery store or 0-day resupply when we were filling those up. Rather than go through all the different snacks we had, I'm just gonna list our favorite 5. Roasted salted almonds. These were a great texture and they provided a whole lot of energy. The saltiness was also nice to help balance out a lot of the other sweeter snacks. Peanut butter filled pretzels. These were amazing, so good, not much else to say. Yogurt covered pretzels. These were a nice balance of salty and sweet, but really they were mostly sweet. The nice thing about them though is that they paired very well with coffee. Pepperoni. This was probably the biggest hit for us. It provided tons of energy and we really looked forward to this one every single day. Trail mix. We had a ton of different varieties of this throughout the trail, but my favorite was one from Planters that had a bunch of dried fruits, nuts, and seeds in it. Overall, we really liked this approach for lunch. Honing in on what you really like is the hard part though. There were definitely a few duds in our snack lineup. Next time we would probably sub something like the yogurt covered pretzels for maybe some dried fruit. It was something we really liked about some of the trail mixes that had it, and it would be really nice to have something like dried mangoes or apricots or something like that to complement some of the other snacks. Once we got into our groove hiking wise and we were hiking a little bit faster, we found ourselves with a little bit of extra time. And so what we would do is we would take an hour-long break in the middle of the day, and that's when we would make our coffee and have some of those yogurt covered pretzels. We would call that siesta. We found that to be a really great way to break up our day and a really great way to get some of our energy back from hiking all morning. Going forward, I think that that would absolutely be something that we do again and again. One more note about lunch is that we found that 5 snacks a day was actually a lot of snacks. And for the most part, we ended up just eating 4. So by the end of the trail, we decided that going forward, we would not pack as many snacks as we did this time around. Visual aid. For dinner, we took a pretty standard approach. We got some dehydrated backpacker meals, and we got them from Mountain House and Backpacker Pantry. The nice thing about these meals is you just add water directly to the package and you're good to go. which means no cleanup. We also picked up some boxes of Annie's mac and cheese and some of the Idahoan instant mashed potatoes. All these dinners only required hot water to make, and that helped keep things super simple, and that was something we really appreciated after a long day of hiking. If you want to know more about our cooking setup, you can check out our gear guide part 1. We'll add a link to that in the description below. Initially, the plan was for all of us to eat a whole backpacker meal every night for dinner, which is 2 servings. We only did that once, and it was a real struggle to get all of that food down. We switched over to splitting those meals between 2 people, and it was a much more appropriate amount of food for us. It also meant less food to carry. Some of the meals had a little less calories than we were hoping for, and so to add a little more sustenance to them, we would make some of those Idahoan mashed potatoes and add it to the backpacker meal. We only had the mac and cheese once for dinner, and it was really good. The only thing is, we preferred the backpacker meals in the end just because there was no dishes at the end of the day. Some of our favorite meals were the breakfast skillet and the chicken fajita bowl from Mountain House, and the pad thai and Three Sisters stew from Backpacker Pantry. This approach worked really well for us, and we would definitely do it again. We would just make sure to only pack 1 dinner for 2 people each night. We did learn from a couple of hikers that you can repackage these backpacker meals into your own Ziploc bags to make them a little bit easier to handle and cram into your bear cans. So we also might implement that. Dessert really means candy. For a few extra calories each night, we would have a candy bar after dinner, and we would get a wide variety of them just to keep things interesting. Our favorites were the Snickers, the Mounds, and the Twigs. Next time, we'd probably take a different approach here, only about half the nights that I really feel like I needed that candy bar. In the future, we'd probably get a bar of dark chocolate and maybe just have a portion of it each night rather than a whole candy bar. We had 3 resupplies on the JMT, 1 in Tuolumne, 1 at Reds Meadow, and 1 at Muir Trail Ranch. Typically, you can send your resupplies to the post office in Tuolumne Meadows, but for us, it was still closed for the year. Alternatively, you can go to the Wilderness Center in Tuolumne Meadows and drop your resupplies off in the bear boxes they have in the parking lot. All you need to do is put your name on it, your expected pickup date, and just remember which box you put it in, because there's a lot of them. The great thing about that resupply is that it's free. We picked ours up on day 2, which might seem a little silly to resupply on day 2, but it's really nice to have a light pack when you're climbing 6,000 feet out of Yosemite Valley on day 1. Reds Meadow is right around mile 60 and was our second resupply. We picked ours up on the morning of the 5th day. The nice thing about Reds is that it has a store and a cafe, so you can pick up any sort of items that you might have forgotten, or you realized you needed, or you just couldn't ship, something like fuel cans. The cafe is nice because you can get real food. We had a delicious and filling breakfast that fueled us amazingly for the rest of our day hiking. The other thing you can get at Reds Meadow is a shower, and for us, it was the last opportunity on the entire trail since we weren't stopping at VVR. If you want to mail a resupply to Reds Meadow, check out their website for more information. As of now, they charge $3 per day to hold your packages. Since we were in the area, we dropped our resupply off in person at Reds Meadow to save money on postage. Muir Trail Ranch was our last resupply on the JMT. MTR is located about halfway down the trail and is the last convenient resupply. That means you're hauling food for half the trail, which also means heavy packs. We picked up our resupply on the morning of day 8 and it had 8 days worth of food in it. MTR is pretty no frills. You just show up, pick up your resupply, and you leave. MTR recommends that you send your resupplies at least 3 weeks ahead of your expected arrival. This is because of their remote location. They have to go out to the post office themselves to pick up these packages. Their fee is $85, which is pretty steep, but their location is super convenient. If we were to do the trail again, we would definitely resupply in Tuolumne and Reds Meadow. However, we would probably use Vermilion Valley Resort over Muir Trail Ranch. MTR wasn't super friendly and they were very expensive. We've heard nothing but good things about VVR. As of now, their fee is only $30 and you have access to a restaurant where you can get real food and beer. It's a 1 mile walk to the dock to catch the ferry to BVR. It's only a half a mile walk to get to MTR off the trail, so you're looking at about a 1 mile difference round trip. The ferry to VVR costs $23 round trip, so it brings your total cost up to about $53, which is still $32 cheaper than MTR. You can use that money to buy yourself a dinner at the restaurant and even another beer. VVR also offers showers and laundry. So for us, that extra mile of walking seems totally worth it. Well guys, that does it for the food portion of our JMT guide. We hope you found all this information useful in some way. If you guys have any tidbits of information or tips involving food or resupplies on the JMT, please drop them in the comments below. We love hearing your guys' feedback and it helps us create better informed content. In the description below, we'll have links to all the food we carried and our other gear guides, as well as blog posts and other things related to all of this information. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in part 4 where we'll talk about all the other extra things that we carried on the JMT.